the ninth heaven. Ascending beyond the realm of cosmic patterns and temporal cycles, Enoch entered the ninth heaven, a domain of even greater abstraction and foundational importance in the cosmic hierarchy. This celestial sphere represented the transition from the governance of time, the eighth heaven's domain, to the very structure of space itself, the fundamental architecture upon which all of creation is built. Enoch learned that this heaven was called in Hebrew Kuchavim, a name derived from the word for stars or stellar bodies. Unlike the eighth heaven's focus on the patterns of constellations, the ninth heaven contained the heavenly homes of the 12 constellations of the circle of the firmament. This description suggests a realm concerned not merely with the patterns formed by stars, but with their essential nature and cosmic positioning, the very blueprint for the spatial arrangement of the universe. These heavenly homes weren't merely dwelling places but primordial templates, the archetypal structures that determined how matter and energy would be distributed throughout the cosmos. While the eighth heaven governed how these structures would change and interact over time, the ninth heaven established their fundamental nature and relationships in space. Together, these two heavens provided the complete framework of space-time within which all of creation exists. The 12 zodiacal constellations in this heaven would have appeared not as patterns of light, as in the eighth heaven, but as archetypal structures or cosmic territories, the original homes from which their manifestations in lower heavens and physical space derived. Each home would have embodied the essential quality of its constellation, the fundamental nature that expresses itself differently at each level of cosmic manifestation. These heavenly homes might have appeared to Enoch as vast architectural structures unlike anything on Earth, perhaps crystalline palaces composed of living light, or geometric forms of perfect mathematical proportions, or energy fields with distinct boundaries and internal organizations. Each would have manifested the pure essence of its corresponding constellation, free from the limitations and distortions that occur when these archetypes manifest in lower realms. The arrangement of these 12 homes would have formed a perfect cosmic geography, a spatial map of fundamental energies and influences that together constitute the complete system of creation. Their relationships to one another would have revealed profound truths about cosmic harmony and balance, showing how seemingly opposite forces, like fire and water or earth and air, complement and complete rather than merely oppose one another. Unlike the eighth heaven's focus on cyclical movement and change, the ninth heaven would have embodied perfect stability, the unchanging spatial framework within which all movement occurs. If the eighth heaven represented divine temporality, the ninth represented divine spatiality, the perfect arrangement of cosmic elements that provides the stage upon which the drama of creation unfolds. The light of this realm would have differed qualitatively from that of lower heavens, perhaps appearing as a radiance emanating from the very fabric of space itself rather than from distinct sources. This omnipresent illumination would have revealed the perfect proportions and relationships between the 12 homes, making visible the mathematical harmonies that govern their arrangement. For Enoch, comprehending this heaven would have required an even greater expansion of consciousness than what was needed for the eighth heaven. Here, he needed to perceive not just patterns of movement, but the very framework of existence itself, the fundamental spatial architecture that makes all subsequent creation possible. This cognitive challenge would have stretched his human understanding to its limits, preparing him for the ultimate revelation awaiting in the 10th heaven. The 9th heaven represents the domain of what ancient philosophers would later call sacred geometry, the perfect mathematical relationships that govern spatial arrangement throughout creation. Here, Enoch witnessed not just how the cosmos moves, 8th heaven, but how it is structured, the fundamental proportions and relationships that determine how energy and matter are distributed throughout creation. This heaven embodies the principle that space itself is not an empty void, but a carefully designed framework with specific properties and characteristics. The distances between cosmic bodies, the proportions of their sizes, and the geometry of their arrangements aren't arbitrary, but reflect divine intelligence expressed through perfect mathematical relationships. What modern physics describes as the fundamental constants and ratios governing material reality, have their origins in the perfect spatial templates of the ninth heaven. The arrangement of the 12 heavenly homes would have revealed profound truths about cosmic balance and harmony. Perhaps they formed a perfect dodecahedron, a 12-faced polyhedron, or other geometrically significant structure, their relationships encoding mathematical principles fundamental to creation's stability. The perfect symmetry and proportion of their arrangement would have demonstrated how diverse elements can form a unified whole through proper relationship and position. For Enoch, this heaven would have revealed that the constellations observed from Earth are not merely visual groupings of stars, but reflections of fundamental cosmic territories, archetypal regions in the very fabric of creation. The zodiacal divisions familiar to human astrology derive their significance not from human imagination, but from actual cosmic structures, though earthly understanding of these structures is inevitably limited by human perception. The ninth heaven also suggests that stars themselves aren't merely physical bodies, but manifestations of spiritual archetypes, cosmic principles that express themselves at various levels of reality. The physical stars visible in the night sky represent just one level of manifestation for entities whose true nature exists on this higher plane of reality. These stellar archetypes would have appeared to Enoch not as distant points of light, but as vast, conscious presences embodying specific qualities and influences essential to cosmic harmony. This heaven further reveals the profound order governing cosmic arrangement, that the distribution of stellar bodies throughout space isn't random, but follows specific patterns established at this fundamental level of reality. The vast empty spaces between stars, the clustering of stars into galaxies, and the relationships between different stellar types all reflect templates established in this ninth heaven. As Enoch traversed this celestial realm, he would have perceived how each heavenly home emanated a unique quality or influence essential to cosmic balance. One might embody the principle of expansion, another contraction. One might represent integration, another differentiation. Together, they would form a complete system of complementary forces that, in perfect balance, sustain the ongoing creation and evolution of the universe. The perfect stability of these heavenly homes would have contrasted with the constant flux experienced in lower realms of creation. While everything in the material universe undergoes continuous change, these fundamental archetypes remain ever themselves, providing the unchanging reference points that make change intelligible and purposeful. Their immutability ensures that despite the ceaseless transformations occurring throughout creation, the underlying cosmic order remains intact. Unlike the lower heavens populated by distinct beings performing specific functions, the ninth heaven would have appeared more as a unified field of conscious intelligence expressed through perfect mathematical relationships. The boundaries between different homes wouldn't have represented separation, but differentiation within a fundamentally unified reality. This heaven thus revealed a profound truth about the nature of diversity in creation, that it exists not as fragmentation, but as necessary specialization within a coherent whole. For Enoch, comprehending this heaven would have required transcending ordinary spatial thinking. Rather than perceiving objects arranged in space, he needed to perceive space itself as a conscious, intelligently designed medium with specific properties and characteristics. This cognitive leap would have prepared him for the even more profound revelation awaiting in the 10th heaven, where even the fundamental distinction between creator and creation would be transcended. The 9th heaven stands as a testament to the mathematical perfection and intelligent design of cosmic structure, a realm where divine wisdom expresses itself through perfect spatial relationships. It represents the cosmic blueprint defining how reality is structured at the most fundamental level, the archetypal framework upon which all subsequent levels of manifestation are built. In this heaven, Enoch witnessed not just how creation moves, 8th heaven, but how it is arranged, the perfect spatial proportions that govern the distribution of energy and matter throughout the cosmos. As Enoch prepared to ascend to the 10th and final heaven, he carried with him this vision of cosmic architecture, a universe perfectly designed at its most fundamental level, where even the arrangement of stars and the proportions of space reflect divine intelligence. This revelation would have completed his understanding of creation's nature, preparing him for the ultimate encounter with the Creator himself in the heaven beyond.